As we approach the end of this year, I wanted to kind of look back on what happened this year. The good and the bad. And the reason why I want to look at the bad as well is because I want us to all remember that while there may be severely bad moments, while there may be bad events that happen in our lives, there are also good things. Life isn't just a good thing life isn't just a pile of anything and everything. Life is separated into good and bad things that we experience. The good doesn't necessarily make the bad things any less painful, but the bad things don't spoil or make the good things unimportant. That's a quote from one of my favorite doctors, Matt Smith, from Doctor Who, of course, if you know the series, and if you don't, then you're confused, but that's okay. So, what happened in 2017? Well, April 6th, we heard news about a chemical attack in Syria on a small town that had killed several people. Several young children and older people were suffering and dying from whatever kind of chemical weapon they'd used. And it was clear that it was chemical because they were covered in this white powder stuff, and it was just horrible. And then we had the retaliation, which also killed some innocents, because of course they keep innocents even in the areas where they've got soldiers and stuff. May 22nd, we had the Ariana Grande concert bombing. So sad. We've had several terrorist attacks. There was a couple of them in Tehran during June. There was the attack in Somalia. There was an Orlando nightclub shooting that, to be honest, qualifies under my book for terrorist because it was meant to make people afraid. It doesn't have to be a member of an extremist group for it to be a terrorist attack. Not in my book. We also had a couple of hurricanes. Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma. I believe we had another, I can't remember the name. That devastated so many people. I wept for the people that were going to suffer this. There was a 7.1 earthquake in Mexico, one of the strongest we've recorded in recent years. There were stories about people coming back from being, there was this one story about a guy named Otto Warmbier who returned home in a coma and died a week later after being basically tortured and contained in, where else? North Korea. Where else? But we also had some good moments, didn't we? We had some good times. July 7th, the Treaty for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons was signed by 122 out of the 190-something United Nations countries. Back in August, in fact, 6 days before my birthday, we had the Great American Eclipse. That was fun. I loved seeing everyone pour in just to be able to see the stream and see the eclipse as it moved on overhead. SpaceX launched its first reflight of an orbital rocket. So basically, SpaceX is like the new and improved version of NASA, I guess. It's supposed to be anyway. It's kind of like this privately funded version of NASA, but you know. But still, there were a few personal great moments too, like Boogie 2988, Stephen Williams, Francis, the guy that we all loved to laugh with and hopefully not at, got bariatric surgery and started a new life as a healthier man, and was able to start doing the things that he couldn't have done even a month or so before surgery. He was able to finally gain control of himself, gain control of his health. I'm very proud of him for that. I also managed to break 300 subscribers. I'm now up to 300 and I think 40 something now. I think 343 or 4, I'm not sure. I got a job working for my church back in May or June, helping with the social media, the website, and a few other things. And I'm learning more as time goes on. I've made many new friends, not just at my church, but also with you guys here on YouTube. You guys impress me so much. You guys inspire me so much. And you want to know why you do? It's mainly one main reason. You care enough to come and check in on me. To come in and say, hey, how you doing? What's up? I see that you're a bit sad today, or I see that that's what keeps me going, and that's what makes me know that this was a good decision. This was a good choice. I could have dropped YouTube a year ago when I decided that I was frustrated that I wasn't getting views and I wasn't getting money and everything was bad, and I could have done that. I could have been so bitter back then. I was bitter. I was very bitter. I was very naive with what I expected the YouTube experience to be, and when I expected it to be something that it isn't. For a time, I lost my drive to create, but now I'm back. I came back. I got better. I got smarter. I got stronger. I got more enthusiastic about what I do. But there's still bad in the world. There's still hurt in the world. There's still hurt in the world. And there's still pain. And there's still the anguish of those that have lost loved ones. Just today in church, I learned of a very well-loved woman of the congregation had passed away. She had been part of the congregation since, I'm assuming she was very young, or at least younger, and had reached out and connected with so many people. And I saw the pain written on so many people's faces as they shared in that loss. I didn't personally know this woman, but I know that she was loved and she was cared for, and that, I think, is what I would like to aim for in my life. If nothing else, at the end of my life, when I have to leave my loved ones, and I'm gonna be sad. Don't even begin to think that I wouldn't be. I'm gonna be sad when I have to go, because I'm gonna be leaving behind a lot of good people that are going to hurt for quite a good amount of time. It's going to take time to get past the pain of losing me, just like it'll take time for me to get past the pain of losing those that I'm going to end up losing in my life. And I want you to know it's okay. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to hurt. Even during the holidays, it's okay to hurt. Because, to be honest, the strongest of us are the people that cry. The strongest of us are the people that allow themselves to feel, even in the presence of others, even in the presence of people that would demean them and belittle them and berate them for showing emotion. And to those people that do that, shame on you. Shame on you for showing so little tact and so little humanity that you think that emotion is weakness, that you think emotion is bad, because it's not. Emotion is what drives us. Emotion is what fills us. Do you want to know why you hate being alone, or why you abhor certain people, or whatever? It's because we're social creatures. We connect with the people that we identify with, the people that we have the same thoughts or share the same thoughts with, or the same ideals, or the same lifestyle. We connect with people because that's the way that relationship works. That's the way that God created us. And yes, I know I'm bringing religion into a place where a lot of you may be uncomfortable. A lot of you may say, well, and that's not my belief. And you know what? I'm fine with that. But I also don't want to be afraid or be against sharing what I feel, just in case there's one of you that may want to and examine it further. Maybe you just needed a personal testimony from a guy that you didn't know from Adam, but you know is just like you. He bleeds, he cries, he works his ass off, he gets things done as he can, and yet he believes in something greater than himself. If that's the kind of testimony you need in order to finally step forward and admit that, yeah, maybe you too. Maybe you believe too, or maybe you want to learn how to believe. Or even if you don't, maybe this is gonna be your only exposure to God. At least I tried. At least I gave you a sporting chance to consider my side rather than just your own, because I always strive for that. I always strive to understand both sides. I may not always sit on the fence like some people do, and like people claim that Boogie does, but when I do, it's usually because I have friends on both sides, and I don't want to hurt either side. I really don't. I never want to hurt you guys. And this year was painful. It's been painful on so many levels. I've seen pictures of people suffering because they've lost everything they've ever owned and don't know where they're going to be going next, don't know where they're going to live, don't know where they're going to go. I've seen people that have come to this country thinking that they could make a name for themselves, that they could make a way to survive, and have been shut down just because their illegal status is that they're not actual citizens of our country. I've seen people that have lost so much and still get back up and say, I'm still glad for what I have. Be glad that you're still here. Be glad that you're still home. That you still have a computer or a tablet or a phone to look at and watch me with. That you still have internet wherever you get it. That you still have your friends or your family or whatever. Whoever you have in your life, thank them today for being there. Thank them today for being kind enough, generous enough, selfless enough to care for you, because they don't have to. None of us have to. And to those of you that have kids, I may not be a parent, but I know what I'd like, what I would be like if I were a father. Treasure your kids every day. Remind yourself every day what a miracle it is that you have your son or daughter, or your spouse even. Remind yourself how lucky you are to have met your spouse and to have been able to fall in love with them and marry them and be a part of their lives for the rest of yours. Be bold, be brave. Don't just sit on the fence. Don't just sit on a bench. Don't just sit back and let the world pass you by. Do something great today. Do something great tomorrow. Do something great with every day that you've got left, because we don't have a lot of days. Our days are like a single grain of sand compared to an entire beach. The days before us and the days after us are uncountable. The days we have here and now are short, but they can still be filled so full with love and happiness. Make that your life's mission. Make that your life's goal. Not to cause strife, not to be the best, not to win every argument, not to treat everyone like they're below you, but to realize that we all need love. What the world needs right now, like it's always needed, is love. We need to show the love that we can hold in our hearts to each other. We can say all that we want. I could speak in front of a crowd of millions with such passion and commitment that I could convince them all. But if I didn't show an ounce of love in what I said, it wouldn't make a difference. It wouldn't mean a thing. That is what it means to be a Christian. That is what it means to be a person that tries to do good in the world. Whether you're Christian or not, if you try to do good in the world, that's what you do. You make the best of every moment. And you try your best to show the best of life to everyone you meet. So, from my home to yours, from my heart directly to you, today, tomorrow, and for the rest of my life, I love you. I care about you. I want to know how you're doing. If you're doing great, awesome. I'd love to hear all about it. If this year's been tough and you need someone to talk to or just need someone to reach out to, I'm always here. My Twitter handle, my Facebook, my Google Plus, hell, even my Instagram. Reach out to me. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I just need someone to talk to. And don't be afraid to support me by sharing my videos or by watching the ads that normally you would use ad block on and just go, well, he doesn't need the money anyway. Or just maybe even donating $1 a month, although I would go through my I would either go directly through PayPal or through StreamTip now, since Patreon's gotten wonky. But thank you so very much for being a part of this experience that I've been living through. And I hope you have a great 2018. I know I'm going to try. Happy Christmas, everyone. And thank you for being with me in 2017.